Hey guys, still here and welcome back to Wargame, where I have a weird match for you today. It's a match, 10v10 floods, where there is so much going on that it's hard to figure out where to even start. For starters, it's a big map, so there will be a lot of action. Fortunately, you got all this water over here, which means that quite likely you're not going to be seeing any real incursions other than a couple of units which might be brave enough to cross that water. Most of the action, usually Juliet, Echo, and Bravo. And sometimes you see units try to flank over here. You got the roads, you got the forests, you might be able to sneak up on their base. Over here, if this team that starts over here gets to Charlie, then Foxtrot and Blue 4 currently are going to have a big problem. But I find that you usually have a bit more cover over here than you do over here. I might argue that the map is not entirely balanced in that fashion. Anyway, the guy who sent this replay in is on the enemy team. It's Baba over here. Why am I covering this side? No particular reason. There's just so much going on. And especially so much helicopter warfare going on that it is it doesn't really matter who I cover. Now, to get this out of the way first, I can use your support for my channel. At the moment it's going really well, and I really would like to continue that growth. So, if you like my channel, if you watch it, if you enjoy the content, then please consider becoming a Patreon supporter, or by just clicking that join channel button and becoming a supporter in that way. You really help me out with that. Now, the battle. We have a helicopter rush, or at least the beginnings of a helicopter rush. Mi-28, Mi-25, sorry, Mi-24, not Mi-25, K-52, Mi-24V. You'd think that this is a pretty damn lethal package, because you got a whole lot of air-to-air missiles. Interestingly, it's not the only helo rush. There's more. There's another flight of sort of similar composition going to the other side. Now this is a different player. The one that I'm currently following is Salad, is for goats, which I think is an interesting username. And this guy is General Bonkolski. He's going to try apparently to do something on the right flank. He hasn't marked up yet, but Halo Words has. So Halo Words might also try to do something similar. Yep, Halo Words also has a couple of helicopters. And Papa Smurf has even more helicopters. Or is it just a CV? Yeah, it's a CV. And I'm seeing an Mi-24P of his. Now, this has the potential to be over very quickly if these helo rushes work. If they don't work, then you're going to find out where you're weakest. And considering that most of these ground forces are currently heading in a direction across the bridge to here, this side is going to be a big issue. Now, since it's a 10v10, we already got a couple of planes in the air, and we're already seeing Tomcats and a Block 52. So the enemy is definitely aware of enemy or any air presence. Our air presence here consists of two Su-27S, a MiG-31. All of these dangerous at long range, but not this range. What is dangerous at virtually any range, except minimum distance, is of course artillery. But the joke's on them, because Red 4 doesn't have any ground forces. There are no ground forces heading to Ivan. There are no ground forces heading to Jot. With the exception of artillery. Yes, we have artillery charging the front line. It's weird. Anyway, the helicopters over here from Meow are dashing forward, right into the very much welcoming arms of the DAPs. And not just DAPs, there is a whole lot more to fly by. So this Mi-28 is not going to survive very long. The Mi-24Vs are all pretty close together, making them one big target. And while they definitely inflict some damage, there is just too much to shoot at. And if they all target the same helicopter, of course that's not helping either. So this whole helicopter rush got killed off. They did manage to get a couple of kills on Blue Force helicopters, but possibly not enough. And this is what I meant when I said that if you have no ground forces, you're going to run into trouble. Because now you have a whole flight of Sea Cobras, which are unattended, can fly into Boris, and even worse, can fly right into Anna, which currently isn't even capped because this CV is on the move. Let's see how the Allah Hero Rush is doing. Maybe these guys are faring slightly better. The MI8's currently trying to drop off troops, but they've already been detected. We've got a couple of Blue 4 units firing at them. And with their descent, they might be safe for a bit. But if they try to take off again and leave, they're once again going to get hit by those AA units, whatever they are. We do have a couple of landings over here. It's a whole 4 anti-infantry units, or 4 guys, 2 teams. 12 rockets, or 12 missiles, just the shorter range ones. The QW1. We have found their CV. Well, kind of. It's trying to get into cover. K-52, moving on. Unfortunately, losing line of sight on it. And we're gonna have to get a little closer on that CV in order to kill it. But not too much. There it is. And once again, helicopters. Different guy, different helicopter. Or, well, different guy, same helicopters. So right now, this helicopter rush is in trouble as well, because they just lost their eyes. Blue was also doing another helicopter rush over here. They have taken control of the whole town, and moreover, they have infantry deployed inside these buildings, which makes anything that tries to go towards the middle a very, very big liability. Another liability is Ivan. Ivan is wide open to attack. There is just nothing in this sector. There are some units moving into position, but only now. And of course the enemy, if they're using this many helicopters, does have this position solidly nailed down. And of course the helicopter rush is going to get especially bad if there is a whole flight of Celtics coming your way. Which there is. The Celtics are mopping up any helicopters that are still airborne. And the ones that are landed seem safe for the moment, but of course are completely pinned down. They have nowhere to go, no way to escape. And while the Gornostrelki are pretty good units, they have no anti-air defenses. One very brave TY-90 tried to defend against these Celtics, but one helicopter against 6 Celtics is just not really going to work. Interestingly, the scores are pretty even. Blue is at 2700, red is at almost 1800. It's not as disastrous as I had expected. But with no defense in Jot, and moreover no defense over here in Anna, these units are moving on completely uncontested, and the Sea Cobras are just wreaking havoc on whatever they can find. They did bypass the CV. They tried to take a couple of shots at it, lost line of sight, and the CV survived. But considering that the sector is neutral, Blue has flown in a command unit. There's even more helicopters being spawned in. Probably the guy operating over here, the salad is for goats, is not even too aware that his main base is falling. At this point, the CV for Red 4 is dead. With that, their air spawn is dead. No more planes for Red 4. They still have 2 FOBs, but, well, that's not going to last for anything more than 2 minutes. So now Blue is 2,000 points ahead, has their air spawn. This is what happens if both teams bank on a helicopter's attacks. Or, well, maybe not too much, but because look what Blue has. Look at the contrast of red units on the map versus Blue. Blue just has way more stuff. We have Delta Force Rangers, Light Riflemen and more Delta defending these bridges. Which, as far as I have seen, Red has not even tried to cross at all. They have the Fallschirmjäger, which they were quickly dropping off over here. Backed up by the Sappers, and they're still here. They're still working on kicking out the Molestrelki. Then there's this town, which is defended by Kutai 90, Standard Kutai, Delta Force, SEALs, Bradleys, 163s, Comvats. They have the whole area on lockdown. And even over here, they got some infantry. What exactly the infantry is doing out here, I'm not too aware of. I don't really know what the plan is here. But they might have been offloaded a bit early. But then again... Actually, who's saying this? No forces, says Risti. Yeah. Red 4 is realizing that they have absolutely nothing over here. Blue 4 doesn't know. Blue 4 does not have the intel on this area just yet. So they could have just walked right in. They could have taken their infantry and drive right into Boris. neutralize the command vehicle, and clear it. And now we got an attack mark over here by Devastation, saying, come on guys, at least let us play for 10 minutes. Well, you're going to get your 10 minutes, but not a whole lot more than that. Now at this point, we do need a defense for Red 4 over here in Gregory. This is not really a defense. Sure enough, this could take down a helicopter, especially a helicopter group that's hovering low. You could take those down. Is it reliable? Not really. Is it the most ideal way of doing it? Not exactly. But it can be done, but not at this range. The Tunguskas are now moving up. But the Tunguskas are not really in a position where they would want to be. Because the helicopters from blue, once they've been resupplied, and we got no shortage of supplies over here with 2 FOBs, which are almost fully stocked, and another flight of blue for helicopters, they're just flying right over. So you don't really need the Tunguskas over here, and I don't think he was setting them to go here, probably more setting them to go to help out either here or there. Leaving them once again with no anti-air. Well, okay, there's 2 Mi-24Vs, which are trying their very best to take down 1 jet. So far, rather unsuccessful. So at this point, Salidus for Goats is spawning in a whole bunch of infantry. Judging by their veterancy rate, I would say that these are probably reservists. Just a whole load of reservists. Will this take down helicopters? I don't think so. It's going to tickle them a little, but not much more than that. Moreover, you could argue that the game is completely decided at this point. 53-50 versus 25-65. And whatever forces remained over here are currently being worked out by whatever blue force sent in here. There is one very lonely, very brave, and potentially very frightened Spetsnaz VMF officer here, who still is carrying an AKS-74U, an RPG-2, sorry, an RPG-7 and a sniper rifle. And he's doing spotting, but not until he runs into the ninja. That's when he's going to get detected himself. So this just went completely sideways. Now, why am I showing you this gameplay? You might question. And I was questioning that myself when I first saw the replay. I was really thinking, is this really worth showing? Yes and no. On the one hand, it's absolutely disgusting gameplay. You can just rush a whole bunch of helicopters forward, and that it works. You can push with helicopters, and especially if the enemy also tries to push with helicopters and you outgun them, it works, and you push through. So the point of that is to always have some sort of defense and don't go all in on helicopters. It doesn't work. Another reason, and this is not directly related to Wargame, but a buddy of mine was asking, I'm considering changing, or I'm going to start playing Wargame after I've played quite a bit of Steel Division 2. I wonder how much of a difference helicopters can make. Oh boy. This is how much of a difference helicopters can make. I don't really know Steel Division well enough to give an accurate indication of whether you could win it in 10 minutes, and I suppose you might be able to. But you sure as hell cannot cross the whole map with a whole bunch of very, very dangerous units this fast. This is the difference that helicopters can have on a game. This is the impact. Now, there's a sort of defense being thrown up by 2 Tunguskas. The Tunguskas are doing good work, damaging the ammo crates or the ammo boxes on the Sea Cobras. Sea Cobras are spamming tow missiles all over the place, but not hitting the Tunguska so far. And it's even gotten concealment for a second or two. When, once again, it takes down a Tunguska, or it takes down the Sea Cobra, it takes down another one, and that's the end of it. Now someone, and I'm not sure if this is even a plan, but they spawned in Hwasung Chong, which are the AA-mounted transports. So those could indeed work, because they carry 16 Igla. Interesting strategy to deal with a whole bunch of helicopters. He's spawning them in, he's doing a decent bit of damage against these Sea Cobras, but there are just too many of them. And while they are definitely taking them down, it's not fast enough. The Chongsu themselves just have nothing on the Sea Cobras. They would really need to get quite close to fire that Type 73 or the Type 68 at them. They're currently firing with a whole 9% accuracy. So once again, these helicopters live to fight yet another fight. And considering how lightly defended this sector is, it is going to be over very, very quickly. Now, how could you defend against an onslaught like that? Scouting. Scouting out mostly. Especially if you have a map this big, I would recommend you do, or at least have, maybe either your own jets or other people's jets, do a flyover of most of the map. Just send a plane over here, have it do a bit of a loop. Send a plane over here, have it do a bit of a loop. See these helicopter rushes early. And when you see them, you have a little bit more reaction time. Not a whole lot, but every bit counts. And you could have set up a lot more defenses. If these Afghanskis that they're only spawning in now had been here a long time ago and just set up in a wide pattern, then the Sea Cobras would not have been nearly as successful. If the Sea Cobras would have been detected over here, again, they would not have been nearly as successful in trying to get all the way over here. And of course, as with many other videos, coordination is critical. If you see that everybody seems to be doing helicopters or artillery, coordinate with your team. And I'm well aware that I cannot see the chat, and maybe people were already proclaiming in chat that this was going to go all sorts of horribly wrong, and they were warned. I don't know that. All I can see is the text markers. So as somebody pointed out in a comment recently, hey, you never take into account the chat. No, I don't. Mostly because I can't. I don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there. Doesn't mean that there are no people communicating, coordinating, or being toxic in chat, which unfortunately also happens. Now, another thing about helicopter rushes is usually they're expensive. A helicopter rush like this is definitely a sizable investment. So if you have one team doing a helicopter rush on one side, that usually means that they're lacking some ground forces elsewhere. So while they're attacking on this side with a whole bunch of helicopters, maybe that means that they're very light over here. And Delta Force and Rangers are definitely no pushovers, but can pretty easily still be gotten rid of, considering this is an open area. A couple of tanks, a couple of fire support vehicles, maybe some artillery on them, and then you just push. And that would have worked. But right now, this was a complete disaster for Red 4. They scored 4,055 points versus Blue 4's almost 12,000. And this game started out with a countdown of 50 minutes and is currently down to only 36. And we're not even going to see the 36 mark, because the game will have ended before then, since everybody just quit out. This is how much of a difference helicopters can make. This is how different Wargame can be from Steel Division, because Steel Division just does not have this level of flexibility or this level of speed. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I know it was a bit disgusting, but I did find the helicopter rushes interesting, especially what happens if one helicopter rush meets another one. In this case, Blue 4 won, but if you have different helicopters, I might imagine that that could have gone quite different. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and if you liked the video, then please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. It helps, gets it more visibility, and allows it to get shown to more people, as per the usual YouTube algorithms. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you soon for another one.